Hello and welcome to Interpol World Television. We're very lucky to have Mark Hashemi from Immunis Cyber Defense with us today. Mark, can you tell us what is Immunis Cyber Defense? Tell us a little bit about the company and what you do.
Well, let's just start with the name. Immunis is a Latin word for immune, which basically is immune system of human body. There's a parallel between human body and cyberspace. We are subject to everyday attack from germs, viruses, parasites, bacteria, and without immune system, basically we cannot survive. We are not vital. So it's same as cyberspace. All the networks, devices connected in networks, they're under constant attack by threats, malwares, whatever the aim and goal is, financial or disruption. So that's why we have created Immunis, which is a very powerful and unique cyber defense for enterprises.
And how long has it taken you to develop this defense technique?
Well, it's a very good question. We started about 4 or 5 years ago. First, we looked at all the legacy and what was being offered in the market. And we looked at what is not being offered in the market also. So first thing what we did is to eliminate the need for designing both hardware and software to match as it is today being offered by many companies. We decided to use off-the-shelf product and put our ingenuity, our innovation on off-the-shelf, so we eliminated this complexity of high cost, saving millions in development in the hardware side, and we focus only on the software side. That took about 4 years, 3.5 to 4 years. Of course, we've been already in the market with selected clients, doing the testing, getting the feedbacks, getting the endorsements and testimonial, and this was a good occasion, and we were ready to bring it into the market.
Now, the cyber market tends to be saturated. What is it that makes Immunis unique and stand out against the competition?
Also a very good question. Well, it is saturated, but there's a growth rate projected at 12% for the next 5 years, which is a very healthy growth. However, this is a global cybersecurity growth. However, there are certain areas of the cybersecurity which will grow even at 45%. For example, IoT. And this is an area that is totally overlooked by the industry, by the solution providers. And that's some of our capabilities. We are unique in a sense that, first of all, we are first line of defense. Imagine that the line comes from the ISP to your home or to your company. We sit right there without getting further into the network. Second thing that makes us absolutely unique in the entire world is that entire industry, I would say correctly, that we are invisible to the intruders. The hackers, they hide themselves, disguise all the malware, and they know what devices are watching them. We are absolutely in a stealth mode. You can imagine that we are a copper wire to the hacker. To all the packages that come from different sources, we are totally invisible. And also we have a uniqueness that we also not only looking at the things that are coming from the outside, from up there, we look at also things that are inside the network. For example, if you take your laptop home, go outside the company and pick up something and come back. As soon as you're connected back to your own environment, we detect if you have brought something with you. So these are some of the unique points that makes it very interesting. We look at the markets very thoroughly to see where the needs are. We are not going to compete with the big names and big guys that are focusing on big enterprises. We have identified where we want to focus.
So where is that focus? What sort of organizations are you targeting your technology at?
Well, when you read all these cyber attacks and the incidents, it always comes down to financial. You know, you read about 7, 8 financial impact, and then you read 2-3 impact with people could not, charge their cars, or some incident happened. We are focusing on based on what we call it adverse implications. These are the things that people are not looking at. What are adverse implications? First, foremost is human safety, public safety, cars. Can you imagine a car being hacked? Is immediately accident? Is human safety involved? So we look at human safety first, anything that has to do with human and public safety. Then we look at adverse catastrophic results. If somebody opens a dam and flows the water, if somebody attacks the utilities and you shut down the power to the hospitals, to the infrastructure. And then we look at really adverse disruption into the businesses, whether it's a telecommunication, whether it's traffic controls in a city. And then at the very end, we go through layers, we look at the financial. And when we look at this, everybody has focused in past years on the financial side and basically have overlooked the huge potential, immense potential. Keep in mind, there are analysts that they give numbers that in 2020 we will have 20 billion, and some people forecast 40 billion, and some forecast 50 billion devices will be connected, and in 5 years will be 100 billion. And this market is wide open, and we have the exact product for it.
But technology is changing so fast, and you've highlighted out to 2020 beyond and billions of IoT devices. How are you going to keep up with it? What are you developing next?
Well, there are two sets of, there's what we have already, that's why we call it advanced cyber defense. What we have already developed, it takes us way into the future. It is different from what it is other people offer today. However, we are aligning ourselves with the most well-known policy makers in cybersecurity. Organizations on a European basis, American European basis, we look at where they are guiding, they are pointing their fingers for the suppliers to develop solutions. So we are aligning our roadmap to that. Having said that, AI is an area that we have already initiated and we develop in next 2-3 years to automate some of these detections, some of the feeds that are coming into the product.
And AI is one of the big advanced areas in development, both from a threat actors perspective, but also a protection perspective.
Correct. Actually, threat actors are ahead of defense actors, defense vendors, I would say, in certain cases. And this is one of the major move towards the AI. It's basically, if you look at it, comes down to reducing the number of need for resources. Today, there's a shortage of developers and cybersecurity experts and engineers. So by automating, you speed up, you're more effective, and you don't need to have an army of engineers sitting in your company trying to, write rules and detect everything and feed it back into the system. So AI is the future that we will adopt, and this will be part of our roadmap next 2-3 years.
Mark, absolutely fascinating. I could talk to you all day about this. It's a fantastic subject, but thank you very much indeed for talking to us on Interpol World Television.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.